Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is another one in my Witchcraft 101 series. As I'm sure you know, in witchcraft we work with the classic elements of earth, fire, air, and water, plus the fifth element of spirit. The elements are the forces of nature and life and are at the very roots of witchcraft. I'll be doing a dedicated video on each of the elements starting today with water and the associations connected with it. If you enjoy this video and would like to see more, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel. Water has a receptive energy and represents emotions, intuition, psychic abilities, deep feelings, emotional aspects of love, purification, wisdom, the soul, the subconscious, fertility, self-healing, reflection, and eternal movement. It is known as being very adaptable because of the way it behaves, which is why it is tied to emotions. It can change its actual structure and form and go from being a liquid to a solid to a gas. It's also capable of changing its shape and can go from being calm and gentle to strong and dangerous or be anywhere in between. Water has the ability to adapt and represents change and rebirth. Water has changing tides and phases, and even the symbolism behind storms represents change. It's a sign of rebirth because of the purification aspect, and in some cultures and religions, people go to water to go through a rebirth process. One example of this is being baptized. Water also represents creativity, not only because it can change its own structure, but it can also change the structure of things around it. When water flows through an area for a long time, it erodes and changes the shape of the land and rocks as it passes. In ritual, we usually use bowls of water, a cup, or seashells to represent the element of water. You could also use ice, a hagstone, or certain related crystals. You might focus more on this element when casting spells for friendship, relationships, happiness, healing, and fertility. I also like to work with water for shadow work because they both have a lot to do with emotions. Another way to bring the water element into your spells and rituals is by using the astrological signs associated with it: Scorpio, Cancer, and Pisces. You don't have to belong to one of these signs to work with water magic, but those who do might feel more connected to water. If you wish, you can work with the moon or sun when it's passing through these astrological phases to add the water element to your workings. Usually the sun will stay in each sign for just over a month, while the moon is in each sign for only a few days. There are lots of calendars online that will tell you when the planets are in each sign, so you can coordinate your spells if you would like to. Each of the four classic elements, earth, air, fire, and water, are associated with one of the four cardinal directions. Water's direction is west. In the pentagram, water is usually seen as being the right point, although some people will place it on the left. The alchemical symbol for water is an upside-down triangle. Water is considered a feminine element because it can nourish us, nurture us, and cleanse us. One of water's ruling planets is the moon because it affects the tides and all the water on Earth. As humans, our bodies are made up of about 60% water, so we are actually affected by the moon's phases as well. It's interesting how the different moon phases can affect our emotions, which again ties into water. The other ruling planets of water are Neptune and Pluto. As you would expect, the main color for water is blue, but you can use all different shades like aqua and turquoise, or even silver. You can also go further than that if you want and use colors like ocean blue or seafoam green. There are certain crystals that correspond to water as well, either because of their color, their name, or how they were created. Some of these include beryl, aquamarine, amethyst, blue tourmaline, blue fluorite, blue topaz, quartz, opal, pearl, coral, and most clear or translucent crystals. Pearl and coral aren't actually crystals, of course, but are natural items created by an animal. If you are planning on using these things, please make sure they are sustainably sourced and aren't mass collected from live animals, as that's not a good practice to be supporting. There are also certain metals that are associated with each element. The ones for water are silver, copper, and mercury. My favorite way to work with metals and the elements is to enchant my jewelry. Because of my very sensitive skin, most of my jewelry is silver, but I know for most people, copper will be the most accessible of these because it's not as expensive as silver or dangerous to be handling like mercury. When using silver, it doesn't have to be 100% pure silver, but could be sterling silver, which is usually made up of around 7% copper, or just silver plated. If you want, you could even use another type of metal entirely that is silver colored, such as steel. I will say I don't suggest trying to work with mercury at all because it can be dangerous to touch or handle in any way, and if you aren't trained to really know what you are doing, it could be harmful. When I enchant my silver jewelry, I will usually do so for personal protection and will use some kind of special magical water. This could be moon water, blessed water, holy water, running water like from a stream, or water from a sacred location such as the Ganges River in India or the Chalice Well in Glastonbury. Because I'm in Texas and don't travel much, I've never been to one of these sacred water sites, but if you live closer, it would be a great resource. You can use this water to enchant your jewelry by dipping the jewelry into it or sprinkling the water onto the jewelry. There are other ways of enchanting jewelry using the other elements as well, and when I'm using other metals, I will use the element that it corresponds to. I can talk more about that in the upcoming videos on the other elements. You can also incorporate metals into your workings by using small pieces of metal such as beads or pieces of wire. It's pretty easy and inexpensive to find copper beads and wire at the craft stores. I know for some people it can be easier to connect with animals and their energies rather than other things like herbs or crystals. There are different animals that relate to each element, and you can draw on their energy to connect you to them. Most of these animals are connected to water because of where they live, but some are more because of the folklore associated with them. Of course, I don't expect you to have access to all these animals alive in your proximity, and even if you do, some of them especially wouldn't be very smart to try to mess with. Instead, if you wish to work with these, you can work with their imagery by using oracle cards, drawings, printouts, small kids' toys, etc. Some of these animals include fish, sea snakes, dolphins, whales, walrus, seals, seabirds like seagulls, albatross, pelicans, penguins, etc., crabs, sea turtles, seahorse, starfish, otters, alligators and crocodiles, bears, and horses. Although some of these, like bears and horses, aren't directly related to the ocean, their folklore and history do closely relate them to water, especially horses. Now we're going to talk about herbs and plants related to water. You can use these in different ways, such as in ritual baths or showers, as offerings, in incense, in teas, or for use in workings. Please, though, when using any plant matter, be sure to do your due diligence and research them carefully to be sure it's safe before burning, ingesting, or using topically on your skin. Some herbs are safe to use in some applications, but not in others, so be sure you do your research before working with herbs in any form. Also, some plants that may be fine for humans can be toxic to other animals like our pets, so be careful to research there too. Some of the herbs and plants associated with water are spearmint and other mints, lemon balm, lotus, reeds, ferns, mosses, seaweed, kelp, water lilies, gardenia, and willow trees. Although it's not an herb, sea salt can be used as well, and I kind of group it in with the herbs. If you're using sea salt or any other type of salt, please don't put it outside on the ground or in plants because it will kill the earth and the soil biology. Different people will connect various plants to the different elements depending on how they personally connect with them and feel their energies. So if there are certain ones you feel connect with water, feel free to use them. Some people also like to connect to the energies of different water beings, such as the elementals like undines. Some other water spirits are nymphs, mermaids, sirens, sea serpents, and water fae like selkies. When working with water, there are many different kinds you can choose from that each have their own associations. Some of these are rainwater, sea or ocean water, river or stream water, lake, swamp, or pond water, waterfall water, harbor water, moon or sun water, storm water, water from dew, fog, or mist, snow, ice, or frost water, and well water. If you'd be interested, I could make another video talking about each of these and their different correspondences, but I don't want to make this video too long, so let me know in the comments below if you'd be interested in hearing more. There are different things you can do to work with water in your practice. One way is to use items I've talked about, like stones or herbs that are associated with water in your spell work, but there are many other ways as well. One way is to take a ritual bath or shower. These are often done for cleansing, but can be done for other purposes too. I normally take showers and like to visualize the water running over me and taking all the negativity and washing it away down the drain. You can add certain herbs or crystals to the bath water that are associated with the water element or with your intention for the bath. If you're doing a self-love bath, for example, you might want to use rose petals, pink Himalayan salt, and light some pink candles around the tub. You can either put the herbs straight into the bath water, or to make cleanup easier, you can add them to a small mesh or muslin sachet to use like a tea bag. You can also use herbs in the shower by tying one of these bags under the faucet so the water runs through it. If using any crystals, please research and make sure they are water safe, because some will dissolve or leach harmful chemicals and toxins if they get wet. You can also purchase or make ritual washes to use to clean your floors and surfaces, or even special soaps to use on your body. I love to infuse herbs into oils, especially herbs I've grown myself. I then use the oil to make soaps, salves, lotion, and other enchanted body products. Another way of working with water is scrying, using a bowl of water. I have tried this, but it wasn't really something I enjoyed, so I haven't done it very much, and not in many years now. If you want to try though, you can take a solid colored bowl, preferably a dark color, and fill it with water to gaze into and try and interpret what you're seeing. Water is often used for cleansing items or a space as well. You can use moon, sun, or blessed water to cleanse items by sprinkling it around to cleanse a room or area. One creative way I enjoy using water is to use moon or sun water to use with watercolors in my Book of Shadows or witchy journal. You can also infuse water with the energies of herbs or crystals. If you're using crystals, I wouldn't put them directly in the water, but would instead put them sitting around the base of a glass or jar of water to charge for a while. Especially if you were going to be drinking this water for any reason, you don't want to add the crystals straight in, even if they are considered water safe, because they could leach things, or tiny particles you can't see could get into the water and potentially harm you if you ingest them. You can make your workings and rituals as simple or as complicated as you wish. You could use certain items on your altar that correspond to water, make infused oils with the herbs associated with water I mentioned before, dress your candles with this oil, or the herbs themselves, use the alchemical symbol, use the different types of water, and use different correspondences to add multiple layers to help you connect with the energy and vibration of the water element. If you aren't someone who uses tools and materials, you can visualize everything in your mind, such as colors and the ocean or other bodies of water. You can also combine different elements that work together to help improve your workings. I hope you found this video interesting and learned something new. I'll be posting every Friday, so if you want to stay up to date and be notified every time I upload a new video, please subscribe and hit the bell notification icon. You can also like the video and leave a comment down below. Thanks so much for watching and have a blessed day. See you next time!